Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dr. A. Jean Ayers Memorial Auditorium. It is with great honor that we present Carol Stock Kranowitz. Ms. Kranowitz is the author of The Out-of-Sync Child, Recognizing and Coping with Sensory Processing Disorder, and its sequel, The Out-of-Sync Child Has Fun, Activities for Kids with Sensory Processing Disorder. She also wrote The Good Enough's Get in Sync and 101 Activities for Kids in Tight Spaces. Ms. Kranowitz is the co-author of Hear, See, Play, Music Discovery Activities for Preschoolers. She has written many articles on sensory processing, child development, and preschool curricula for magazines such as Parenting, Sesame Street Magazine, Child Care Information Exchange, and Family Circle. Carol is also a member of the Board of Directors of the Star Center in Greenwood Village, Colorado, the treatment partner of the SPD Foundation. Carol is editor-in-chief of SI Focus, the international magazine focusing on sensory integration and sensory processing. Please welcome Carol Stock Kranowitz.
Thank you. And thank you for supporting the Sensory Processing Disorder Foundation and learning more about our children and their challenge, sensory processing disorder. When I first met Lucy Jane Miller, I knew enough about her to be awed. Of course I knew her name. Her reputation was well established as an extraordinary occupational therapist, as a mentee of research pioneer Dr. A. Jean Ayers, and as the only full-time researcher in sensory processing disorder, also called SPD. Nobody alive knew more about SPD than Lucy. She was, to me, the queen bee. In our endless passion to create awareness through writing books, teaching seminars, and attending conferences, inevitably Lucy and I began collaborating. Together we have provided dozens of seminars to parents, teachers, occupational therapists, and other service providers. At our joint events, I would suggest a fun activity for children, and Lucy would explain what was going on inside the child's central nervous system that made the activity work. A good team. We were creating awareness, and people were learning, and children's lives were better off as a result. I remember Lucy telling me, once the dream begins, you just have to pursue it. And that's why we are here today, to pursue knowledge, wisdom, and best practice. Dr. Lucy Jane Miller is an occupational therapist and research scientist. She directs the Sensory Processing Disorder Foundation and the Sensory Treatment and Research Center, also called STAR Center, in Denver. Her credits include countless awards and hundreds of articles, and of course, she is the author of Sensational Kids, Hope and Help for Children with Sensory Processing Disorder. At last, the most renowned researcher and practitioner, the person everyone goes to for answers, shares her body of knowledge with all of us. It is a great privilege and honor to introduce my friend and colleague, Dr. Lucy Jane Miller.
Thank you, Carol. It's great to see you again and to be here. And welcome to all of you. I am thrilled to know that you are here today to learn about sensory processing disorder. SPD is a complex brain syndrome that affects the way we experience sensations in taste, touch, sound, sight, smell, movement, and inside our bodies. For those who have SPD, what comes easily for most kids, things like eating, dressing, making friends, or responding to a simple hug, become daily struggles that result in social, emotional, motor, or academic problems. Information found here in the SPD University will give you essential information on an increasingly diagnosed but poorly understood condition. The SPD University has valuable information for you. The programs at this virtual university are designed to help you develop a really good understanding of what SPD is and how it affects children and their families. You will also be introduced to treatments for SPD. First, we're going to talk about the definition of sensory processing disorder, and we will include a brief history of what is known about the disorder. Then, we'll look at how SPD affects children and adolescents and their families, as well as how it can affect adults. I'll complete this introduction to SPD with a breakdown of the disorder into its 3 primary patterns and 6 subtypes.
Sam, I don't want to have to ask you again. Please, get dressed. We're running late.
In a sensory day for Sam, once again, he doesn't respond to his mother calling his name. She can't seem to wake him up, and he won't get dressed.
But you love this cereal. Please, Sam, eat your breakfast. At least eat your toast.
He doesn't feel hungry and won't eat. At 8 o'clock, he'll refuse to brush his teeth or put his coat on. At 9 o'clock, Andrea can look forward to Sam complaining about having to go to school, and he'll cry getting into the car. However, once in school, Sam is fearful of playing with the other children. He'll eat crackers for lunch, and he'll cry at recess. Around 3 o'clock, Sam will be exhausted and disorganized, and he'll get whiny. 4 o'clock doesn't get any easier.
Sam, sit back down and finish your homework. You only have a few more pages.
At 6, he won't sit still at the dinner table. He's too tired to eat again, and complains and refuses to eat. By 7, Sam starts to get hyper and wound up. He begs his mother to watch TV and refuses to brush his teeth or take a bath.
Sam, I'm not kidding this time. Get out of that bathtub and dry off right now. Sam, are you listening to me?
Yet once he gets into the bath, he'll refuse to get out, and then he won't want to go to bed. And once Andrea finally gets him into the bed, Sam will be restless. An hour later, he'll ask to sleep with his parents. At 11 o'clock, he is still not sleepy and comes up with all kinds of reasons to get up. And somewhere around 2 in the morning, Sam will wake up and not be able to go back to sleep. And Andrea and Sam get to do this all over again the next day. Parenting a sensory child is an enormous challenge. Let's listen as Sherry tells us what it's like to parent a sensory child.
It's hard. I think the big really thing that's hard is that sometimes I can control his little world, and I can manage. I have, I think, become really quite good at managing a lot of the input and output of his little life when we go out of our bubble of our house and then we go into the real world, and it becomes taxing, it becomes embarrassing, it becomes you sit there and you ask yourself, you feel like a bad mom.
Sherry is not alone. Just ask these parents of sensory children. Something as simple as a day out together can turn into a major problem.
He and I had planned a special day for Walker and we were going to get ice cream, and he wanted to go get a book, so we were going to go to Tatter to Cover. We got the ice cream. He decided he didn't want the ice cream, and then I said fine. So he was upset about the ice cream after we got the ice cream that he said he wanted, but then he didn't want the ice cream. So then I said, well, let's go get your book. Let's go look for a book. Well, we went in, and we tried to get a book. He wanted a more expensive book. We can't get that book, but let's get this book. Let's look at this book. This is almost the same. And we had major meltdown, and he was screaming, I hate you, I hate you. And I had to carry him out, and as I'm carrying him out, he's screaming, you're hurting me, don't touch me, I hate you. So I am sobbing, and he is screaming, and I felt like as I walked out the door, everybody had a round of applause that we finally left, because it was terrible. It was terrible.
Parenting sensory children takes its toll. It is common for people to judge your parenting skills because they do not understand what you are up against. Just take a parenting class, they say, or Can't you discipline that child?
My mom's a learning disabilities teacher, and my father, a university professor. It's taken a long time to buy into this. They may say, oh, well, the kids just need exercise. Just give them more exercise and, they'll be fine. I gave them lots of exercise, but it wasn't fine. The comment sometimes is that, we'll play your little game. And to me, that's demeaning. I believe that it's true. To say that it's a game, gosh, seems to make light of, to me, such a day-to-day struggle.
Many parents go through the stages of grief when they learn that their child has a sensory disorder, but others feel relief that finally something explains their child's problem.
The basic difference now is at least we have a core understanding of what's going on. So even though Ian still has some of these problems, like a field day, that activity that we had where Ian just couldn't handle it, I understood why. And you're able to adjust and deal with things when you understand really what's going on and why. It helps so much. It is such a relief you can say, oh, I understand, and give them the love that they really need. Just knowing it's